Hello, this is Max. I hope you all are doing well. I want to go over a very toxic behavior of many women today. Many girls say many women today. And why that led to me breaking up with my ex girlfriend, and why this behavior is so tragic. Now, to make a long story short, we were living in a mental health facility. I had met this girl. I'm gonna not name her name, but I met this girl in the day program we went to, and we had very good experiences. At first, she showed me a lot of affection. We were intimate a lot. We did a lot of things together, and eventually she just withdrew more and more. And I wondered, like, what is going on? And then I realized, she was entertaining other guys. It was literally to the point she was being so disrespectful that she was messaging other guys right in front of me. And here's the point: if you're committed to a man or a woman, you have to stay committed to them. You can't be messaging a bunch of other people of the opposite gender. That's not showing commitment, and that's not love. And I was trying to tell her that. So I expressed to her my concerns, and I realized she said she wouldn't do it anymore. So I realized for around like 4 months, around like 2 months or so, she was talking to people behind my back. And turns out that that's why what originally led to her going on Tinder without even telling me she ever did. And she tries to justify the fact that she went on Tinder, like searching for the opposite gender, as ridiculous as it sounds. And she tried to justify and say, "Oh, well, they match you." Well, no, you're trying to look for intimacy, and that's the problem. People claim they're doing things innocently, but they're not. And the problem with talking to all these people online and Instagram and social media, I'm not saying Instagram is bad of itself, but what people use it for. Like, I have an Instagram account I created because I felt bad about what she was doing. But when people are doing all these things, the point is that you're not focused on your partner when you're talking to people of the opposite gender. You're just not. It doesn't matter if you're hanging out with them in person. You're emotionally connecting to the other person. So it led to the point where, she would eventually become physically abusive. She would hit me because she didn't like me expressing the truth to her, and that's that I didn't like what she was doing. Long story short, we argued one morning, and a staff member banned me from her property. And then, long story short, my ex-girlfriend, she had broke up with me that time. And she said, "Well, we shouldn't have to have the staff get involved." Well, yeah, but you shouldn't. They shouldn't need to be involved if you're doing the right thing, being loyal to me and commit to me. And they certainly should. Like, I was raising my voice because I wasn't even raising my voice. I was firm and saying, "You know what? I don't want you hitting me." But the fact that someone can't even admit what they're doing wrong, and they're going to hit someone over someone saying, "You know what? I don't like you talking to other guys," and not even just willing to just like end it. Like, I have no respect for this person, and to be honest, I don't want them back. If they're willing to come back to me with a genuine, genuinely feeling sorry and remorse, although a lot of people would take them back, I wouldn't. I'm not even going to take her back because she has shown no commitment to me. Now I want to like end with a lesson. I'm Jewish, and from a Torah perspective, we have to show commitment to the ones we love. We're not showing commitment to the ones we love when we're talking to other guys, when we're, talking to other women or whatever, when we're, hanging out with them. And the straw that broke the camel's back, the reason I argued that one night with my ex-girlfriend was because after work, she had actually gone to the gas station with another guy. And she's like, "Oh, it's not hanging out with the person." But I said, "You're being completely inconsiderate of my feelings. Here's the point and the red flag. If you're expressing your feelings, wants, and needs to your partner, and they're not showing any kind of room for listening or understanding, they don't care about how you feel. They pretend to. They just care about how you make them feel. They don't care about how you feel in the scenario. So as soon as you express something they don't like, they're going to break up with you." And literally probably 30 to 40 times, this girl has broken up with me. And I've only broken up with her like shortly after maybe she's broken up with me, because it's like, yeah, I'm going to have a certain level of insecurity. Not insecurity, but uncomfortable feelings when, someone is breaking up with me over me just expressing myself and being myself. So there's the moral of the story. Stick with your intuition. Stick with your gut feeling. If you feel like something is wrong, it probably is wrong. As my dad said, his dad, my grandpa always used to tell my dad, if something seems wrong, it probably is wrong. And it's a common old saying, but it's very true. What I learned from this experience, and what we can all learn from this experience, is that talking to other people of the opposite gender when you're in a relationship is very damaging. And specifically in my situation, it was to the point where she didn't want to be intimate barely at all a lot of times. And she often wouldn't even come over my place or hang out with me or do things with me. It was to the point where the whole relationship was just her coming over. And sometimes she wouldn't, at certain points of the relationship, she didn't even want to come over because she was so busy talking to other guys. So the moral of the story is, show commitment to the ones you love. And if you're not going to do this, it's not a real relationship. It's not committed relationship. It's a so-called open relationship where you're not committed. And this is not holy. This is not a way to live a life fearing and loving God. The Jewish perspective is to stay committed to the ones you love. And the moral of the story is that if you're not committed to the people you love, the relationship isn't going to last because you're not even going to be able to focus on your lover. There'd literally be times where this girl wouldn't even come over because she was so busy texting another guy or other guys. And then I found out later that she was on Instagram 2 a.m. She was claiming she was tired and sick, but really she was having a good time texting other people. So, and how I know this? Because she later on would say a lot of times she wasn't really sick, and she would make up every excuse to not be intimate with me. It was to the point that she often would withhold intimacy just because she didn't like something I said, and she would ghost me for a while. She would take a while to reply to my messages. Why did that happen? Simple. Because she was focused on all these other people and entertaining these other people. So the message I have for all of you is be very careful who you enter a relationship with. And if anybody is, in of itself, it's not terrible if you're talking to the opposite gender, but it's wrong. It's wrong, and it should definitely be a boundary. But if someone's doing that doesn't... I'm not saying you should end a relationship just because of that, but if someone is abusing you and invalidating how you feel, trying to make you feel guilty, and withholding intimacy especially, and doesn't even want to spend time with you and focus on your relationship, then it's time to get out. Why? Because one, they're entertaining other people, and two, them entertaining other people is causing them to not be intimate with you. And the really sad part is I have to add this. Most of the time when someone's entertaining other people, they're not going to be committed to you. So in of itself, it's not necessarily going to be the ultimate reason to break up, but usually it is. And it leads to problems down the road regardless. So what I would advise, if you're going through that, definitely break up with the person. Definitely at least first talk it out with the person. If they still want to be having fun with other people, break up with them. And I broke up with them, and then I actually kind of was, I was kind of asking to go in a relationship again. And then I said I would be willing to have certain standards and to agree with them. But then they said no. I said okay. And then I said, I don't want a relationship with you anyway. And I'm just not going to contact them, and that's the way to go about it. I shouldn't have reached out to them again. I kind of was, they call it a trauma bomb. We were kind of connected to the person. But the point is, this is the point, and this is the moral. And I want you all to listen very carefully to my words and what I'm saying, to heed to my advice, because it's all true. This is all based off of God's words in Torah, and what God says. If you're in a relationship and you're entertaining other people, you're not in a committed relationship. There's going to be so many problems. You're not going to be focused on that relationship. You're not going to be able to be intimate the same way. And it was literally to the point where, as I've said before, she was texting other guys right in front of me when we're hanging out. We moved far from each other, and we were doing a video call, and she was texting another guy even during that. Even we're not even spending time in person, she's doing that. So the point I'm trying to make is, stick with your intuition, stick with your gut instincts, stick with what you know is right in your heart. If someone is treating you bad physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, verbally, I don't care how they're treating you wrong. Well, I do, but it doesn't matter exactly how they're treating you wrong. If someone is treating you wrong, stick with your intuition. If someone is entertaining other people and doesn't seem invested in you, stick with your intuition. If someone is talking to the opposite gender and they're not focused on you, stick with your intuition. And if someone doesn't seem to care about your needs or wants and always uses your feelings to have a reason to yell at you or abuse you or blame you or gaslight you, stick with your intuition, because I guarantee you will find the right person who actually cares about your needs and wants, who actually respects you, who cares about your feelings, and actually loves you for who you are as a person, not pretends to love you. I hope this all was helpful, and God bless you all.